I've been DMing for Dungeons & Dragons for a long time. Over 12 years of my life has been dedicated to playing this fucking game, and I've played with many groups over the years. In this video, I want to go over some of the claims throughout the years of times I supposedly forgot something or retconned something. To be fair, I'm not claiming to be perfect, but my games like Curse of Strahd Blood War have been heavily scrutinized and revised many times, and I've found no contradictions. If you are a player of mine and you found one, put it in the comments for me to cover in a later video. Without further ado, here's Chapter 1. The first question I tend to get often is, Devin forgot that lords can leave Barovia. This is not correct. It's made very clear that lords can't leave Barovia unless under special circumstances. There are 3 instances in which the lords seemingly leave Barovia, all of which are introductions. In the Death House introduction, it's made very clear that the Death House is able to exist in and out of Barovia anyways, due to it being a location that Tatiana was murdered. So Allison is able to meet and speak with the players in the Death House. In the Icewind Dale intro, it stated that the only way that Zuko was able to visit the players was through a ritual summoning, so he's not there of his own will anyways. And finally, during the Werewolves in the Mist, Tallahassee isn't even there. It's an illusion that a Vistani werewolf carried with him in a jar. Thus, when Tallahassee is attacked, he turns into mist. So I don't understand where people are getting the idea that I made a lord leave during any circumstance. The next one I get often is that Devin forgot that Madame Eva's cards are fate and that the players have to buy more to get more items. This is a misunderstanding of how the Taraka deck works. It has never been stated that only items' locations revealed by the Taraka deck carry items. All magical items and allies are in Barovia. The Taraka deck is stated to grant the player guidance to these items. Another Devin forgot around this is the belief that Madame Eva already knows where the items are. This is untrue. She is only aware of a prediction when she uses the Taraka deck and her divination magic. Another one is that Devin forgot that since gods can't communicate in Barovia, clerics and warlocks shouldn't be playable. This is wrong on many levels. Clerics base their power in their faith. If they can't hear from their gods, their faith may even be more powerful than with communication. However, it's a misunderstanding that all divine can't enter Barovia. The gods simply choose not to ever enter. But angels, like the abbot in Chapter 3, have shown to be able to enter Barovia. They're also afraid of Vecna, so gods like Selûne don't enter. As for warlocks, most of their power derives from a bond beyond that of faith. They are becoming avatars of their patrons, so they are the only way a god would want to enter Barovia. Another one I get is that Devin forgot about Madame Eva. Madame Eva is not an ally of the players and feels no need to stick around. She is a Vistani, which are people that move between the mist, and she can be found in many different campaigns, even being a main character in Strixhaven as a professor of divination. Another one I get is that Devin forgot about Doru. I don't understand this question, and I didn't understand this question for a long time, but I think the issue is people think I forget that as a vampire he should have returned after a couple days of being slain, but this is a misunderstanding of how vampires and vampire spawn work. Doru was a vampire spawn, a vampire that hadn't fully matured, and with enough damage would die. But this doesn't seem to be a good enough answer for some people, and since he had been trapped in the church for 3 weeks, he should have matured. But he was never fed blood, and also that's not how a vampire spawn becomes a vampire, and the ritual to become a vampire is detailed in a later part. Another one that's often asked is, why did Devin forget about the Tome of Strahd? This is not the case. The Tome of Strahd is not a diary. It's a book that when opened shows an illusion of the past by reading the memory of the land. If it seemingly was forgotten in your campaign, it's because the players forgot to use it. The Tome of Strahd, after all, is just a book, and it will not light up or shine as a magical item. I think the other reason this is often confused is people think that every magic item has to be damage dealing. No, the Tome of Strahd grants you knowledge of the weaknesses of Strahd and even how he became who he is. Another one I get is Devin forgot about Strahd's forbiddance in regards to the Church of St. Markovia. Though it's true that vampires can't enter places they're not invited to, this does not apply to Strahd in regards to Barovia. As early as the first dinner with Strahd, he says, "I am the land." He owns all of Barovia. Another one that's often said is that Devin forgot that Kretsk is a safe haven. The sources that tell the players that Kretsk is a safe haven are not reliable. With Irina and Ismark, they are told by their father that Kretsk is safe, and their father hears about it from Rohedin, who is a servant of Tallahassee. Devin forgot that Strahd is a good guy. This has never been the case. Strahd is not a good guy, but none of the characters are directly evil. The game is not meant to be black and white, good and evil. Strahd himself is complex. His goals may seem good-hearted because a part of him wants the monsters to be trapped so no one else may suffer, but he also wants to keep Irina as a slave for his own selfish desire to have his daughter back. And finally, Devin forgot Gook's teleportation ability. This just isn't true, as we see him use it a total 8 times outside of personal player opportunities, most of which are spoilers, but I'll put a main one here in Chapter 1. It can be seen after meeting him again in Vallaki, where he offers a fast travel option where he will teleport players to him back in Vallaki for a small price. This is all the Devin forgot in Chapter 1, but later I will continue explaining all the stuff in Chapter 2, the chapter of Allison the Dollmaker.